What up, YouTube family? Appreciate y'all for clicking on the channel. And for the new people, I appreciate y'all for coming to the channel to check the content. Well, we got a story today. It's about those Goon Squad racist cops, racist officers. I don't even want to call them cops and officers. They was thugs, racist gang members. You know, that's what we talking about today. I believe it was 6 of them being charged for brutally assaulting two black males victims, and which their names was Eddie Parker and Michael Jenkins. And we gonna get to this video, but this is a story that happened it was in Mississippi, like in Jenkins County or something. No, Rankin County in Mississippi. Times ain't changed too much in Mississippi, really a lot of places, but Mississippi's one of them. This happened January 6th, and these deputies, wait till y'all see what they did and what happened.
In the last hour, 6 former Mississippi officers were sentenced to 15 to 45 years in prison on state charges in the assault and torture of 2 black men. The officers pleaded guilty to charges including hindering prosecution, burglary, home invasion, and aggravated assault.
Now, this all comes after the group, which called themselves the Goon Squad, also pleaded guilty to separate federal charges last year, and they were sentenced to terms of 10 to 40 years in prison. NBC News correspondent Priya Sridhar is live outside the courthouse in Brandon, Mississippi for us this afternoon. Priya, walk us through the details of the state sentences these men are facing and how this connects to what they've already been convicted of federally.
Yeah, that's right. These 6 law enforcement officers actually pleaded guilty to all of both the federal and the state charges. Most of them were felonies. As you mentioned, home invasion, obstruction of justice, conspiracy, aggravated assault. This all stems from an incident that happened back in January of last year, where a white neighbor in Rankin County called a sheriff's deputy and said that she was concerned about 2 black men who were entering a white woman's home. At that point, this deputy mobilized what they called the Goon Squad because they prided themselves on using excessive force, went to that home, entered without a search warrant, and then proceeded to brutally torture these men for a period of 90 minutes, physically, sexually, and psychologically abusing them. And once things had gotten too far, one of those 2 black men ended up shot in the mouth. The law enforcement officers realized they had to cover it all up, so they planted methamphetamine and a gun, according to court records, and actually charged the men with drug possession. But of course, since then, things have been reversed, and now these men are facing their own jail sentences.
And the 2 victims in this case, Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker, they filed a $40 million civil lawsuit against the Rankin County Sheriff's Office last year. What are you hearing from them? Have they spoken today? Have their families spoken out?
Yeah, we heard from the victims and their families, and they called the sentences today monumental, especially since what the state was recommending, which was actually half of what the judge ended up imposing today. They did deliver victim impact statements inside of the courtroom through their attorney, Malik Shabazz. Let's take a listen to the words of Eddie Parker, one of those 2 victims.
My life was not perfect, but it was mine. I doubt if I'll ever experience it again. I wish I didn't have to experience the memory of this torture session, but I can't do that either. I can't erase my memories, but I will struggle to live on.
And so Vicki and Ellison, now everyone from the courtroom actually moved over to the Rankin County Sheriff's Department because they're calling on the Sheriff Brian Bailey to resign. They say there are systemic problems in the Sheriff's Department and that he knew about it, and it's time for him to go.
All right, and that civil lawsuit is a $400 million lawsuit. We'll keep following this. Priya,
Damn shame. Sad excuse for officers. All the cops around the nation that's not racist, y'all should be mad and pissed about this. This is one of those reasons why it's so hard to get along with different communities as a law enforcement officer. Because of this, y'all hiring opposing thugs, opposing racist thugs. That's what, you know, whenever you have those on the force, this the outcome, this what happens. You know, this the type of things that happen. You know, you have stereotype things going on. You have assaults happen, money being lost due to lawsuits, and all this stuff comes from these type of foolish people. You don't never get that desperate to hire on people, because you might get what you want, or what you don't want, should I say. So let's break this down. This happened, as I say, last year, 2023 of January 6th, and they just getting around to, get tying up all the loose ends. So the Goon Squad is what they call themselves, because they took pride in excessive force. So that's why they call themselves the Goon Squad. Basically, they took pride in excessive force, probably towards just people of color. Let's just keep it 100. I mean, look at what they did. It had to be only people of color, because this happened at a white woman's home, but because black men were there. So this is how it started from what they saying. It was a white neighbor, which that sounds just like a racist little town or whatever. It sounds like a racist area, because there's a white woman that wasn't an officer that called the police because she saw the two victims, which was Eddie Parker and Michael Jenkins. She saw them some reason as a threat because they were at a white woman's house. And so they called the law enforcement officers, the Goon Squad. I ain't gonna call them law enforcement. I'm gonna stop saying that, because I don't, that's not police right there. That's not policing. That's terrorizing, which they should be charged for hate crimes too, by the way. But she called them, and so these guys heard her story, her side. So they show up, like the Klan, pretty much, and started assaulting these guys. They, let's see, this was 90 minutes of torture. They did this for 90 minutes. They beat them, tased them. Let's say, I'm trying to figure out the right word without this being too vulgar. They assaulted them in feminine ways, basically took their manhood. And of course, the victims received several racial slurs, and I can only imagine what they were saying, So their charges for that was hindering prosecution, burglary, home invasion, and aggravated assault, plus other charges I'm sure that's gonna pop back up. So they did all of this stuff, and they tried to cover it up by planting a gun and meth on the victims, which happens all the time, all over America. I mean, I personally know people this has happened to. Tried it with me before, tried to plant some things on me. And this was in Louisiana, Baton Rouge, another racist town, racist little county. It's sad that this is 2024 and you would think it's 1924 or something. Like, we came this far from that, and this is still going on in America. It's a shame, man. Like, when can this stop? Like, if I see, I'm a black guy, right? If I see a black woman, a beautiful black woman, let's just say, just to add emphasis on it, with a white guy, I'm like, man, hey, you a lucky man. I have no problem with that, because I wasn't raised a program to see like interracial as negative. I was never programmed that way. Some people were. Like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I mean, this is 2024. I think we have way bigger problems in today's world than skin tone. We gotta do better as humans, man. We have to. We have to. We can't continue like this. I mean, this is self-destruction. That's really what it is. We trying to go to Mars and all this. We don't deserve to be there. We don't deserve to be nowhere but where we at. we gonna bring racism to the moon? We gotta fix this, for real. So, they said the sentencing they got was from 17 and a half years to 40 years off the state charges. But then they have the federal charges, which range from the 10 to 40 years, which was what they were sentenced. I mean, it's pretty tough. They said that this was the longest law enforcement sentencing ever in the history of the United States. So, and I'm glad, hey man, big ups to the U.S., man, for stepping, to the agencies that stepped up, and to the judge and prosecutors that actually did this. big ups to y'all, man, because I'm gonna be honest, man, I don't think nobody expected them to get more than a slap on the wrist for this. You know, and y'all see what they did. Yeah, and they tried to ruin these, really they tried to kill one man because they shot him in the mouth, in the face. They could have been aiming for his head, like in his nose, his brain, anywhere, but through the grace of God, it didn't happen. He was meant to be here and tell this story. You know, they went through all this stuff for 90 minutes. That's an hour and a half. And was probably longer than that. To be honest, it possibly was longer than, man, that is serious torture. You know, and then tried to just throw some drugs and gun on them to cover it up so they can be back out and free to do this all over again to somebody else. So, man, this is, you know, this is crazy that we still in these times, but hey, man, it's gonna happen. My advice to everybody, when you get stopped by the police, man, immediately start recording. You could go live, anything. They can't erase live, you know, but cameras are never on your side when it's not in your hands. When it's not your camera or people that's around you, like civilians, their cameras. If it's law enforcement cameras, they're not on your side and it's gonna be against you somehow. You know, it's just like that. It's sad, but it's like that. All of my police officers is out there, anybody in law enforcement, if y'all want a better relationship with y'all community, keep these pieces of crap out of the force. Keep they stain off of y'all name. And then there will be a better relationship with y'all communities that y'all in. And I think that's with every race. You know, a lot of the communities, whether it's the Black community, white community, Latino, Asian, you know, the list goes on. If those communities, if y'all have a bad relationship with them, y'all can have a better one by keeping these pieces of crap off the force, out of the way. Don't even tie them to y'all name, because y'all will pay for it. It was something that caught my mind, you know, caught my eye, should I say, that meant a lot to me. And I think we need to follow up on this story because of that. So, Sheriff Brian Bradley, he's the leader of them, supposedly. He hasn't been prosecuted. His fight is he didn't know they was racist. After a long stint of complaints at that, he didn't know. He knew, in my opinion, he definitely knew. The thing is that he didn't care. And you know why? They represented what he represents. I have a strong feeling they represent what he represents. That's why. That's the problem right there. Now they have a whole thing going on within their county, in their state, that's probably gonna mess them over real bad, because there's a $400 million lawsuit filed by the victims, which they should be awarded. Money is not gonna fix what they went through. It's not gonna give them their manhood back like it once was. Something you can't pay for. But the money will help bring more structure, if they use it in the right way, bring more structure to better law enforcement agencies. For one, the harsh punishment that would be, because they said that would bankrupt the county. You know, that it'll bankrupt the force. So I don't think that's something that's a slap on the wrist to me. Now that's if they're awarded this, which I'm sure they're gonna get up there, which they should get it all. They should. They definitely should. Because the things that happen to them, it'll never be swept under the rug in their mind. They'll never be able to just get past that 100%, never. You know, their families either. They'll never be able to get, remember, the families are victims too. They didn't know that if their loved one was gonna live or not from getting shot like that. And then they tried to ruin their lives by planting stuff on them. They did all this to them like that wasn't enough. Then they tried to throw them in a cell for the rest of their lives. Gotta do better, man. That's what I'm pretty much sum it up on right now. I will follow up to see if that one guy the sheriff, the Brian Bailey guy, end up getting. We try to see if he end up getting, prosecuted for this, which I hope he do. And everybody should, unless you just, have that agenda in your mind too of what they were trying to do, unless you're like that. which a lot of people I met is not like that. So I'm gonna say majority of y'all gonna feel like I feel. He needs to be prosecuted as well. In order to, if they really want to clean up what's going on, then yeah, he needs to be out of there too. Cause the way that they're talking, like this guy knew. But man, I appreciate y'all for checking out the story today. I just wanted to give y'all the news on that. And man, hit the like button if you like the content. Hit the subscribe if you would like to be part of the family, the channel family here at Cover XL. We appreciate all the love and support. Get down in the comments if y'all have some information I don't have. Talk to me. Let me know, man. I'm all open ears, and maybe we can even put something out together. And also, share it if you feel somebody needs to see this story. There's a share button. Go ahead and do that. But until next time, family, take care of y'all self, take care of y'all family, and salute.